What are the top 3 reasons that the clergy of Iran and so much of the population of Iran are anti-Baha'is? I mean, Baha'is, for the people who don't know, like peace-loving, it's about peace and unity, it's about serving the poor, it's about getting an education. There's nothing in the Baha'i faith that, in fact, Baha'is are told to be obedient to the government that they live under. So the Baha'is are not trying to overthrow anyone. We're not even actively supposed to proselytize. So Baha'is aren't supposed to like actively try and convert people. There's just this peaceable population of this homegrown religion. Why all of the violence and hatred?
I mean, I think if you ask 10 different people, they'll each give you 3 different reasons.
Okay.
But I will tell you that from my perspective, one is the fact that Iranians and the clergy are so big on the fact that Islam is the last religion. So the Baha'i Faith came over 1,000 years after Islam. So they feel that that's absolutely blasphemy.
Because Muhammad said in the Quran, and he has a quote that says, he calls himself the seal of the prophets. So
That's
that
exactly
one
it.
phrase has been interpreted by most of the Muslim world that there will never be another prophet or manifestation or, divine teacher that comes down after Muhammad in the year 622.
Exactly. And also, it is not that uncommon that they accept the religions before them, but not the ones after them.
Mm-hmm.
And so that is an area that they have a problem with. The second thing is that as Baha'is, we believe that given that for the most part, we are all educated, we no longer need clergy. We don't need to have a middleman between us and God. Well, Iran is run by the clergy. I'm guessing that they're not too happy about that teaching either.
Mm-hmm.
And there are many others. I mean, we have the Baha'i Faith kind of like gets rid of the dogmas and superstition and so on. One of the teachings I love the most, probably one of the reasons that I personally have that connection to the Baha'i Faith, is the one that says science and religion should agree. And if they don't, it's religion that is in fault because then it's no longer makes sense. It's superstition.
And there's a lot of other teachings in the Baha'i Faith that I think might be an anathema to fundamentalist kind of clergy in the Shiite version of Islam. Again, there are a lot of progressive schools of Islam, and Islam as you experience it in Indonesia and parts of Indonesia or Turkey, let's say, might be what you would call like much more, open and progressive.
Yes.
But the Shiite version in Iran has always been a little on the fundamentalist side, and also the equality of women and men.
That's a big one.
The idea of universal education, that women should be educated. These are elimination of extremes of wealth and poverty. These are some quote unquote, I'll use the word progressive for lack of a better word, but these ideas would not be very popular with that kind of reactive clergy.
And if you go back to, let's say, a few decades ago when my dad was young, the idea of education, Western-style education, was frowned upon. It was viewed as a way to, in a sense, take people away from the Muslim faith. So, like when my dad was a kid and he wanted to go to school, his dad was very much of a fundamentalist. He would say, no, if you go to school, you'll become a Baha'i. And that was the thinking that went on in many of those small towns and villages. So
education in those parts of the Muslim world at that time was going to, what's it called? Madrasa? What's it called?
Yeah, you would need to learn how to read Quran. That's all you need.
That's it. Just memorize the Quran, pretty
That's
much.
it. Yes.
Yeah. So the idea of learning arts and sciences and culture and history and of course in the Baha'i Faith too, we're taught that in the individual investigation of truth, we don't accept just the truth of our parents or the truth of our clergy or the truth of our culture and investigate the truth for ourselves. That's, again, a pretty progressive idea.
The Soul Boom Podcast. Subscribe now on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever else you get your stupid podcasts.